The Xenobiology Research Station orbited the frost-blue planet of Kepler 442b, a monument to interstellar cooperation. Representatives from 47 species worked within its chrome corridors, studying the galaxy's most fascinating and lethal organisms. Instructor Vexthor, a Crethanian with iridescent scales and 4 optical sensors, stood before the reinforced observation chamber with his usual air of superiority. "Cadets!" His translator device rendered his clicking speech into galactic standard. "Behind this barrier lives one of the most dangerous creatures we have ever catalogued. Approach with extreme caution. Do not under any circumstances engage directly." Orla leaned against the wall, arms crossed, her dark eyes scanning the chamber with clinical interest. The 23-year-old xenobiologist from Earth had heard this speech a dozen times during her 6-month rotation. Every species thought their predators were the apex of lethality. She'd seen the Vraxian acid spitters, the Tolmec shadow stalkers, and the infamous Zendari hive minds. Dangerous certainly, but manageable with proper protocols. Lewis, standing beside her with a datapad in hand, caught her skeptical expression and smirked. The young man had been her research partner since their academy days, and he knew that look well. It meant Orla was about to ask an uncomfortable question. "Instructor Vexthor," she raised her hand, her voice cutting through the reverent silence. "You've used the term dangerous 4 times in the last 2 minutes. Dangerous to whom, sir? To the station? To the containment field? To trained xenobiologists with proper equipment?" The instructor's scales rippled with what might have been irritation. "Dangerous to everyone. Cadet Orla. This specimen has a documented aggression index of 9.7 out of 10. It attacks without provocation, shows no fear response, and possesses strength-to-mass ratios that defy standard biological models." "Fascinating." Orla pushed off from the wall and approached the observation window. "What's its homeworld gravity?" 1.2 standard, Vexthor replied, mandibles twitching. "Temperature range? -40 to +50 degrees Celsius." Orla raised an eyebrow. Lewis, recognizing where this was going, pulled up comparison data on his pad. "Sir, that's nearly identical to Earth's environmental parameters." "Irrelevant." Vexthor's scales darkened to a deeper purple. "This creature has a name, presumably," Orla interrupted, earning disapproving looks from several alien cadets. Humans and their insistence on naming everything. The instructor's translator emitted a sound like grinding glass. "The indigenous population calls it Vegnasha. It translates roughly to death that walks in daylight." Through the reinforced glass teal, movement caught Orla's attention. The creature emerged from the shadows of its habitat, a manufactured environment of rust-colored rocks and sparse vegetation. It stood roughly 1.5 meters tall, quadrupedal, with sleek fur the color of burnt sand. Powerful shoulders, retractable claws, and amber eyes that tracked the observers with unsettling intelligence. "It's a felid," Orla stated flatly. "A what?" Vexthor leaned closer to his translator, as if it had malfunctioned. "A cat, well, a large cat, similar to Earth's cougars or leopards." She turned to Lewis. "Pull up the comparative physiology." Lewis's fingers danced across his datapad. Skeletal structure matches 92%. Musculature is denser, probably due to the slightly higher gravity. Dentition suggests a hypercarnivorous diet. Claws are, these are retractable hunting adaptations. Instructor, this is basically a puma. The other cadets, representing species from low-gravity worlds or herbivorous evolutionary lines, shifted nervously. To them, the Vegnasha was a nightmare made flesh. But Orla had grown up on a planet where such predators were studied, conserved, and occasionally, with proper training, even rehabilitated. "Your assessment is oversimplified," Vexthor protested, his scales now cycling through agitated color patterns. "This creature killed 3 Diluvian researchers last year." "How did they approach it?" Orla asked, her tone shifting from curious to professional. "They entered the habitat to collect biological samples." "Without sedation protocols?" A pause. The creature appeared docile. "Appeared," Orla repeated, turning back to the observation window. The Vegnasha had sat down, tail wrapped around its body, watching them with the patient intensity of an apex predator. "Instructor, with respect, the Diluvians are a prey species. Their body language, pheromones, and movement patterns probably triggered a hunting response. This isn't aggression, it's instinct. Lewis pulled up the incident report, his expression darkening as he read. Says here they approached from behind, moved erratically, and one researcher ran when it turned around. Sir, they did everything wrong. Vexthor's scales flattened against his body, a Crethanian defensive posture. Are you suggesting that humans could safely interact with this creature? Orla met his multifaceted gaze steadily. I'm suggesting that calling it dangerous without context is poor science. Dangerous implies malice or unpredictability. This animal is a predator following predictable behavioral patterns. With proper protocol, confident movement, no direct eye contact, respect for its space, interaction risk drops significantly. You cannot know that, Vexthor insisted. Actually, Orla said, a slight smile playing at her lips, I do. Because I grew up around creatures like this. My mother ran a wildlife rehabilitation center in Colorado. I've been charged by animals with similar threat profiles. The key is understanding their language. Lewis glanced between his partner and the instructor. She's not wrong, sir. Humans evolved alongside dozens of large predators. Our species developed complex behavioral strategies for coexistence. We're adapted for this. The concept seemed to perplex the assembled aliens, the galaxy's younger species, most having achieved sapience in gentler ecosystems, viewed Earth's evolutionary crucible with a mixture of horror and fascination, a world where intelligent life arose while sharing territory with creatures that could and did eat them. If you are so confident, Vexthor said slowly, perhaps you would consent to a demonstration? The chamber fell silent. Several cadets' translator devices emitted sounds of alarm. Orla looked at the Vecnasha, which looked back with golden eyes. She saw the tension in its shoulders ease slightly, the way its ears oriented forward with curiosity rather than aggression. Reading predators was in her blood, taught by countless hours observing, learning, surviving. Define the parameters, she said calmly. I'll need Lewis monitoring vitals from outside, a rapid extraction protocol, and a stun-capable backup team. But yes, instructor, I'll demonstrate that understanding is more effective than fear. Vexthor's scales rippled through a rainbow of colors. Surprise, doubt, and perhaps a grudging respect. Very well, Cadet Orla. Tomorrow we shall see if human confidence is wisdom or merely another form of dangerous. Orla smiled, turning back to the creature that had terrorized a space station full of aliens. To her it was just another cat, larger, wilder, but ultimately comprehensible. And as she met those amber eyes, she could have sworn the Vecnasha's expression shifted into something almost like recognition, two predators acknowledging each other across the glass. Tomorrow would be interesting indeed.